My Zayden is, well, he will be 4.5 by the end of April. And I am tired of pull-ups. So about a month ago, I was like, that's it. I am tired of pull-ups. Like, he's fully potty trained during the day and naps. He's 100%. But at nighttime, he's still wetting his pull-up. Now, I know that that is not, a big deal in boyland. I've heard of many boys who are, still wetting their pull-ups or their night pants at, 5, 6, 7 years of age. I guess it's just a male thing. Girls not so much, but boys. That's why I think like all those, um, big boy nighttime pants are so popular. Like when you see all the commercials, there's rarely a girl in them. They're mostly boys. So I know that it's not of concern that he's not at an unreasonable age for this, but I'm wanting to stop. Like, it's expensive, and I actually think that he is ready to. I think that he doesn't care that he's dirty. It doesn't bother him. Like, he'd still pee in a diaper. Some kids are like, oh, I'm dirty, I don't like being wet. Not Zayden. He's fine with it. He doesn't care. And so about a month ago, I started saying to him, Zayden, if you have a dry, oh, sorry, one sec. Phoenix is in the kitchen. Sorry about that, sleep training. Anyway, so I told him that he can have a treat because rewards worked very good for Zayden with potty training him. So I'm like, okay, I will give you a special treat. And sure enough, the next morning, he was dry, nothing. And he's like, I get a special treat. I'm like, I knew it. I knew you were ready. You just didn't care. So I'm like, yay, right? We got a special treat. And that worked for, I'd say most of the time, like for about 3.5 weeks. Say out of 7 days, he would wake up with 2 wet pull-ups. That's it. It was great. And, he got treats all the time, but I was like thinking maybe I should start taking the pull-up off, but with them co-sleeping in the same bed and just the amount of laundry to do every time they wet the bed, I was just like, no. Then all of a sudden, about a week ago, he stopped. He just, every morning, I'm like, let me check your pull-up, and there's pee in it, and he just thinks it's fine. He doesn't care anymore. So aggravating, to say the least, especially when you know that they can do it. So I decided what I'm going to do is do something very similar for him that I did with potty training. And I made up a chart, and it's nothing fancy at all, just construction paper and Jiffy marker. And every day that he wakes up with a dry pull-up, he gets to pick a Toy Story sticker and put it on his chart. Plus, he gets a couple of chocolates. I had some mini eggs, so I decided I gave him about 3 of them today just so that he can taste them and love them. And I had them in the kitchen, and I told him, I explained to him that dry pull-up means stickers and candies. And then I said to him, Zayden, do you want more chocolate eggs? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you need to do to get more chocolate eggs? And he's like, go pee in the potty. And I'm like, exactly. So I'm going to try this out now and see if it works. And I'll let you know how it goes. I don't want to push him for something he's not ready for, but I really do think that he's ready for this. So I'm going to give this another shot, and if I can get him to have dry pull-ups for 1 week, I'm going to take his pull-ups off and see how that goes, because I'm pretty sure, like sometimes I wonder if maybe he's going pee in them first thing in the morning, or it's like after he gets his milk cup and he's like watching cartoons or something, because maybe he doesn't want to go to the potty. I don't know, but I'll let you know how this goes. All right, so it's been 6 weeks since that last video, and I am pleased to announce that we are 100% nighttime trained, no more pull-ups, yay! What happened was very similar to the other story. At first, the rewards worked fantastically. He would wake up every morning and he'd be like, Mommy, do you want to see if my pull-up's dry? And I would, and I'd be like, yeah, it's dry. He's like, I get 3 chocolate eggs. And, he'd get them, and it was a lot of fun, and it worked really well. And, he had maybe 1 or max 2 nights a week where he would have an accident with his pull-up, but that's it. And then, just like before, it just stopped, and he was peeing in his pull-up all the time. And I'd ask him, I'm like, Satan, why did you do that? And he'd be like, well, why not? You know? And then Mike asked him one morning the same question. He's like, well, it's there, you know, like kind of like he didn't say because the pull-ups on, but what he was saying kind of like, well, that's what you do in pull-ups. You pee in them. So I'm like, all right, we're taking those away. So I gave him a countdown, and like I think I had about 7 pull-ups left at that time, and I wanted to keep about 4 for when we go out of town one weekend, just because I don't want to worry about accidents. So I said, okay, you got these 3 left. Pee in the potty. Don't pee in these. Once these are gone, they're gone. And he's like, all right. Did it stop him? No, he peed in the pull-ups. So when the night came, I'm like, you know what, Satan? It's time. No more pull-ups. You can do this. And I explained to him that if he does not go to the potty, that he's going to be soaking wet and sleeping in pee. And right now he likes to get up in the middle of the night, go potty, and then come to our bed to sleep and cuddle. And I said, you will not be allowed in our bed if you wet your pants because you're soaked in pee. No cuddling with us. So that was a consequence. And the other consequence was that he wouldn't be able to wear Superman pajamas until laundry day because they'd be soaking wet. And I purposely would not, well, I probably would wash them with the bedding, but I wouldn't allow him to wear them again. And that's a huge thing for him because right now he's tunnel vision Superman. He wants to be in his pajamas all day if he can, and if he gets dressed, he wants to wear his Superman t-shirts. So it's huge for him. Like, he'll actually get into his jammies early at night so that he can fly around the house with it. So that was a massive consequence. And that night, he did fine. He did not wet his pants, and we have not had one accident since. Mike one night forgot and put a pull-up on him. So it's a new thing, right? And lo and behold, Satan wet it. So it just confirms that if it's on him, he's going to pee. And I know people were telling me that before, like just take it off. But I think that if I did that earlier, like a lot earlier, like 3.5, I think that we would have had a lot more accidents, a lot more laundry, and it would have been a lot more frustrating. This process took me about 3 months, which is long, but there was no laundry to do. And I honestly think that in hindsight, if I would have taken the pull-up away like 2 or 2.5 months ago, I think that he would have been fine. I think that it was me that was more concerned about all the accidents and frustration that I was just like, forget it. We'll just do this gradually. I think that if I wasn't like that and I just took them away 3 months ago, I think he would have been okay because he's old enough. Kind of similar to the potty training. Like lots of people have accidents and they're constantly cleaning up the couches and the floors. I didn't have to do that with Zayden because I waited till he was 3, and by then, within a half a day, he was using the potty. And so it was a lot less frustrating. A lot more costly because you're using diapers and pull-ups longer. But anyways, that's our story. I am so proud of him. 1 boy down and now 1 to go.